Hello, people of God. It is summer. You know what that means? Sure. Triple digits, heat indices, heat warnings. Yeah, maybe that's what summer means. In my house, it means we get to go to the swimming pool, or the lake, or the river. It also means the farmer's market. I love to go to the farmer's market. It's incredible to get to be there with all of the vendors. These are people I've come to know on a first name basis. They are sharing their gifts and graces with other people. I love that it becomes a central gathering place, not just for vendors, but for the community. And we come together and we share and we laugh. And most of all, we're blessed. I'm in awe of all of those growers, whether they have a big farm or just a garden patch in their backyard. They do something I can't do. My thumbs are far from green. They are able to plant a seed and grow something huge and amazing in abundance, so much so they're able to bring it to market and share it with others. It's in awe that I consider something that was planted and grown and harvested 5 or 10 miles from my house has made its way to my kitchen counter and soon to my dining room table. Do they know how far and wide those vegetables are going to go? Maybe not. Have you ever stopped to think about it? Do you go to the market? Just look at all those vendors and imagine the dirt that they had to work to pull those onions, or the way they had to weed the green beans or the cucumbers. Those are things I've already received from market this summer, and I can't wait for even more produce to come. And then I wander down to the stall where there's baked goods. And maybe they're store-bought baked goods, but maybe they've plucked that fruit themselves. And no matter what, it's delicious. But what kitchen was it made in? What was the zip code? It's exciting to think that these are things coming from the work and toil of people I've met and know and can call by name. And they are blessing me and everyone else that comes to market. What they planted, those seeds that they planted, have now been harvested, and the fruit and bounty are scattered far and wide. It's a blessing to others. I think that's what we are like as disciples of Jesus Christ. We might be planted in one place, but sooner or later, we might find ourselves a little bit scattered and somewhere where it's not home. For this reason, I chose a passage today out of Acts, chapter 8, verses 1 to 3. It's actually not a very pleasant passage to read if you put it into the context of what's happening. Saul has approved of killing and persecuting the early Jesus followers. The church is a bit in turmoil, and things aren't looking good. In this passage, Stephen has already been killed, and they are getting ready to bury him. But tucked into one of these verses, it tells us that day a severe persecution began against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout the countryside. I want to think about that for a moment. The apostles stayed in town, but all the others were scattered throughout the countryside. I don't know about you, but when I think about being scattered, it's not pleasant. If I'm feeling scattered, I don't have my thoughts together, I'm not all together with it, I don't feel capable of getting anything done until I can get unscattered once more. Being scattered makes me think of not being home, not being with friends and family, being somewhere different, unfamiliar. And that's what happened to these early Jesus followers. They truly were scattered to the countryside. Now, typically when we read this, it's a negative connotation. But what if their being scattered is a lot like the farmer's market? What if they were planted in one area and grew and matured. And now in this scattering, they were able to do something incredible. Instead of keeping the good news of Jesus Christ right there in Jerusalem, they were taking it with them wherever they went. People talk. They're going to show up around the countryside and share the good news of Jesus with people who might not have heard it any other time or place. They took the news to where the people were. Sure, they did it for their own safety, the scattering part, but maybe they were also sent. I've paired this today with a passage from John 14. Jesus is talking about the Holy Spirit and how he has sent that Spirit of truth to the world and to his followers. And he says that this Holy Spirit, this advocate, will teach us everything and remind us of what Jesus has taught us. And then this is really important. Jesus says in verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not let them be afraid." Imagine being one of those early Jesus followers that you have to be scattered because the persecution is real. But you also remember these words because the Holy Spirit is with you, that Jesus grants us peace. And Jesus doesn't give to us the way the world gives. And Jesus doesn't want us to be afraid. That would be powerful, enough to encourage the followers to keep sharing that good news so that others would come to know the peace of Jesus Christ. I am so thankful that someone shared the good news and that I was able to hear it. I am so thankful that there's a farmer somewhere who grows produce that ends up on my table. We never know who we're going to feed. We never know who we're going to bless when we share something wonderful, whether it's a bunch of onions or the gospel of Jesus Christ. I know that we all have a gift, and we can all use that gift in service to our God. So, people of God, I invite you, be scattered and sent. Don't just be scattered. Take the good news with you wherever you go. And for this, I say thanks be to God.